You know, when I retire, I hope to play my mandolin and piano a bit more. Maybe even join another band. I always wanted to do that again, ever since I was a member of the Flying Biscuits Bluegrass Band many years ago. So, what about you? Have you thought about what you want to do when you retire? Even more important, have you considered the importance of retirement planning yet? Are you thinking, oh, only 5 years until retirement? Maybe I should be doing something to prepare. And what about after retirement? Are there things I should do as well? However, I don't know where to get started. Maybe you are saying, help! If that is you, then you have come to the right place. I'm going to tell you about things you should consider doing before retiring, so stick around. Hi, I'm Gary, and I live with my wife Rosemary in beautiful Greater Victoria on southern Vancouver Island on the west coast of Canada. We believe this is the best place in Canada to live and to retire to. If you want to know more about Victoria and would like to talk to us, then you can find our online schedules in the description below where you can book a phone or Zoom call with us. So, you are about 5 years out from retiring and starting to consider the many steps to getting there. This does take some effort, so a map of where to go can be a big help. I'm going to give you a good start for your planning and will offer a few tips at the end to make your retirement transition more pleasant with less surprises. Make sure to press the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified of more content like this. Okay, let's have a look first at what you should do 3 to 5 years before you retire. Number one, from 3 to 5 years before retiring, start your financial plan. You know, retirement can be great. That is, it's great if you have the money to enjoy it. So it is pretty important a number of years ahead to get your financial house in order and as well to figure out your sources of income once you've quit working your full-time job. Here are some things to consider in your planning. Number one, develop a wellness plan. Once you are retired, do you know what kind of activities you want to do? Do you have a wellness plan that will provide a balance to your later years? So what is a wellness plan? This is really a plan that provides you all the things you need to stay well and happy, including such factors as social, which are the kind of activities with family and friends you want to engage in, intellectual, things that keep you mentally sharp and interested, physical, exercise to keep fit with health benefits like walking and running or going to the gym, emotional, do you have meaningful things to do that make you happy, like charitable work, helping people, mentoring or teaching other people? Environmental, will you be comfortable in your home as you age? And spiritual, are you spiritually active? Do you have a home church or other place of worship near to where you plan to live, where you can be involved and stay connected? Start thinking of and recording activities that you're interested in now. By looking at the wellness factors and what you do now, you will be able to plan your retirement activities in order to ensure a vibrant retirement life. Number two, review your current financial activities. First, look at your current monthly operating budget. Do an estimate of where things will not be required as much when retired, such as gasoline for driving to work or work clothes. Secondly, construct a retirement budget for early retirement ages of 60 to 72, when you are most likely to be traveling and still be very active. Then do another one for ages 72 to 80, when you may tend to be primarily remaining at home, and finally one for ages 80 plus. These should be reviewed on an annual basis as things like your health may change. Third, house and auto repairs. Even if you buy a new home, it will require maintenance to keep it in good shape. If you are handy and can look after it for the next years, then that's great. However, if not, then you need to budget some funds for this maintenance work because you're going to need to do it. You might also consider purchasing in a strata complex where all the outside common property and landscaping is handled already by the strata, and you are simply charged your share on a monthly basis. As you get older and unable to do the work yourself, this might be a good option. Most people still drive well into their 80s and even 90s, so you may still need to buy another car or two after retirement. Plan to have funds available to do this. Fourth are your savings. Your savings, if significant, may provide a lot of your income while retired. You will want to keep some readily available cash to pay your day-to-day needs. Other cash savings can be invested in short-term or high-interest accounts. And other assets such as properties or rentals or business revenues may require significant time to convert into cash, so ensure you have at least 1 year's budget in cash quickly available. Planning should be put in place to decide when more fixed assets should be liquidated into cash as the retirement years go on. So the fifth item is to look at vacations and your discretionary spending. Maybe you should become a snowbird. When in retirement, you are probably very excited to travel to many foreign places as well as across Canada, now that you have the time and money to do this. Cruises are a wonderful way to travel in easy style and to meet many like-minded people. And jetting in first class is certainly an experience. I'm waiting for that one. You may even be thinking of spending the winters in a warm climate for half the year and the other half back in Canada. You could become the typical Canadian snowbird. However, you need to consider a few things. Once you are 65 years of age and over, the travel medical insurance becomes very restricted and will not cover pre-existing diseases or conditions. Plan to shop around to find travel plans that give you the most benefits. If going away for extended periods, then your home needs to be looked after, so finding a resource to do that now should be really looked at. If you're planning to be out of the country for more than 6 months, then make sure to make application to the Provincial Government Medical Services Office for an extended stay outside of Canada, possibly up to 2 years, which will allow you to maintain your medical plan when out of the province. Also, your children's expenses such as weddings and education, and maybe even helping them buy another house or their first house, is something to look at. Your children are still a factor when you are nearing or in retirement. Planning for weddings, education costs, or even helping out with a down payment for a house should be considered. Also think about the long-term asset transfers to your children if that's in your plans, and include this in your estate plan. Number 3, eliminate your debt. You do not want to have to retire with debt when you have a lower income. Try to deal with outstanding debt while you still have significant income now. Pay off high interest credit cards first, then other loans such as car or property loans. If you're thinking of paying off your mortgage loan, then consider whether you will need a mortgage when you downsize or buy your final retirement home. Remember that once you have no income, getting a mortgage can be tricky. Make sure, at least a few years before retirement, to discuss this need with your bank or your mortgage broker for options to finance a possible new property while you're retired. You may have a portable mortgage that allows you to move it from your current home to your next home. Number 4, create a succession plan for your family business. If you are a business owner, then you should start your planning on how involved you wish to be with your business once you are retired. Some questions may include, will you sell the business? Or will a child take over the business? And how much money can you expect from the business after retirement? Number 5, list your sources of income and amounts from each. You should review your various sources of income and calculate how much monthly income you could expect from each over the next number of years. This could include private pensions, Canadian pension plan, old age supplement, guaranteed income supplement, investment incomes, or your drawings from savings, or annuities, and more. By totaling this up now, it will give you an idea about what your maximum monthly budget should be. Also, take into consideration that inflation will eat away at this over the years, so you might want to include a 2 to 3% increase each year in your expenses to make sure you are accounting for this. You may have other assets such as rental properties, a summer home, and future legacy gifts from parents or other family members. Remember to keep these in your calculations. For property, if it has been held for a long time, remember that there may be a substantial increase in value, resulting in a large capital gain, which may have significant tax implications. You should talk to your tax accountant soon to work out the best timing to dispose of these properties to minimize the taxes and maximize your take-home amounts. Number 7, investments. After a successful career, you may have significant cash saved and investments. Properly managed, these amounts may be invested with significant returns, allowing you a generous income each year. If not needed right away, then these can continue to be invested. However, you will want to look at the risks and consider safer investments with possibly more balance between guaranteed bonds and riskier shares. A good portfolio manager or financial planner can help you out with your long-term plan. Many will also do your taxes for free each year, which is a bonus. If you are continuing to operate rental properties, then it's a good time to make sure you have a good team in place, such as a plumber, a handyman, or a property manager. Remember, retirement is your time to enjoy life and get away. You cannot do this if you have to do all the work yourself to keep the rentals operating. Start to put a team together a few years before retiring so that all the bugs are worked out and you can develop a good team relationship that you know you can depend on when you are away traveling. Number 8, life and critical illness insurances. Insurances are necessary for unplanned emergencies. You should make both life and critical insurance a part of your retirement plan. You can check out what is available to purchase from either your place of employment, as it may have a retirement insurance plan available, or from private insurance companies. Number 9, financial plan. If you have significant investment amounts, then this can generate quite a bit of income for you when you are retired. You need to decide if you wish to look after this yourself, assuming you have the time and knowledge, or whether you need to have a portfolio manager or a financial planner manage this for you. Take the time to investigate a number of different options and start now with the plan to have your investments fully handled by the selected management team by the time you retire. Number 10, estate planning. Although we don't like to think about it, we need to also start thinking of estate planning. We're not here forever. It is your wealth and your decision on who should end up with your money once you are gone. Of course, if you have a spouse, their care must be the number one decision. However, your children, charities, and special interests should be considered and potentially placed in your will. Your will should be updated every 5 to 10 years to keep current with your assets. Things to think about include A. Picking beneficiaries for registered plans and insurance policies. B. Preparing a will. Let everyone know your intentions. Nothing is harder on a family than perceived unfairness in gifts to different members of your family. And use a professional lawyer or notary to prepare this so mistakes are not made which can be costly to your beneficiaries. C. Also think about having an enduring power of attorney prepared by your lawyer for when you are mentally no longer able to look after your affairs. As well, ask your lawyer to prepare a living will for you, stating your advance directives in writing, and or appoint a power of attorney for health purposes, enabling someone you trust to make medical decisions for you if you're unable to. Make sure to include your spouse and family members in your discussions when deciding on these important issues. D. Mortgage considerations. If you will purchase your final home without the need of a mortgage, then good for you. However, if you need a mortgage, you must work out how to do this a number of years before you retire, while you still have significant income. Depending on your annual income once retired, you may find it hard to qualify for a mortgage, as banks may not consider you a good risk as you have low income, regardless of your asset amounts. You should talk to your bank or mortgage broker for options to finance a house purchase requiring a mortgage after you are retired. You should ask yourself, Will you have paid off your mortgage? And if not, how much do you still owe and for how long? What will the monthly mortgage amount be? All right, now we're going to move into just before you retire. This is from 6 to 12 months before retirement. So now we're a year or less from retirement, and there are some practical decisions to be made. First of all, number one, you should review your financial plan. Check that your savings and financial plan are still on track as per your previous 5-year plan. A, list income sources and how much from each to find out if your current income will meet your needs. This could have changed significantly. And B, review your budget needed and how it will change over the years with inflation and with other needs as you age. C, review your financial plan to make sure the income plan is as expected. If any of the previous items have not materialized as expected, then look at adjusting your monthly budget to take this into account. So the next thing is to set the date. So set your retirement date. Now is the time to talk to your Human Resources Department to select the best date for flexibility. Sometimes working a few months longer might mean qualifying for a number of benefits such as free extended medical, travel insurance, etc. Make sure that you have reviewed all retirement options with your company's HR office. Secondly, recheck insurances and critical illness cover, if any, or set up a new plan. And third, consider when your savings may be needed to live on or whether you can remain invested for a while longer. Number 3, start the paperwork for benefits such as Canadian Pension Plan, Old Age Security, and possibly the Guaranteed Income Supplement. And number 4, talk to your bank or mortgage broker about mortgage requirements and have a plan to manage this. Number 5, choose your real estate agent and discuss your buying and selling requirements. First, decide if it makes sense to sell and buy before you retire if carrying a mortgage. Secondly, decide on the type of house or strata property which will suit you best. Number 6, look for a temporary place to stay in the interim period between selling your current home and buying your new downsized home. A short or mid-term rental for 2 to 3 months may be required. It might also be a good time for a cruise or a vacation while waiting to move in, so consider that as well. So now we're looking at once retired. What's the next step? Number 1, document your expenses for the first 6 months to see if you're on track with your expenditures. Compare this to your income to decide if you can live within your budget. If not, then talk to your financial planner for other options. Number 2, look into aging in place resources if you plan to stay in your retirement home. Most people are quite healthy when they retire and have many years of active living. However, as you age, your health may decline and you may find it more difficult over time, both looking after and living in your home. You may want to do some research on assisted living for you and your spouse, so when the time is right, you have a good idea about what to do. Number 4, this is the most important one. Enjoy your retirement. Lastly, retirement is a gift from a lifetime of work, and now it is your time. Have lots of fun with your spouse and family. Enjoy the grandchildren, and enjoy every day because no one knows what will happen tomorrow. Don't sweat the small stuff and try to stay active, stay focused on your wellness plan, and let the latter part of your life remain significant. The tips provided here are really only a start, and yes, you should start as soon as you're ready because retirement creeps up on you before you know it, and you really want to be ready. The following tips will help you develop a smoother plan towards retirement. If you are downsizing, then give Rosemary or me a call so we can discuss listing and selling your home and finding your perfect retirement home. If you would like to talk to Rosemary or me about downsizing, retirement, the Victoria market, or anything else real estate related, then you can find our online booking schedule in the description below for booking either a phone or Zoom call with either of us. We would be glad to chat with you. If you like this video, then give us a thumbs up and share it with a friend. We would also love to hear your comments below about this video or any other real estate topic. Press the subscribe button and touch the notification bell to be notified of our new weekly video releases every Wednesday. You might also like the video listed below, so click on it to give it a view. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.